Hello everyone and welcome back to class. As we've been discussing for the last few days, we are talking about communication that makes us feel awkward, or how do we communicate when we feel awkward, and what does that sort of do to our language. Now, we have done a couple things. One, we have examined a scene from the movie Lady Bird, in which a young teenage girl is talking to a young teenage boy who she likes and is having difficulty just basic communication with him, or is at least feeling very uncomfortable about those situations. We have then created our own awkward scenes where we have taken that scene as an example and have tried to duplicate it in our own way. Now, we're going to take moments from everyday life that we talked about before, and we are going to create our own three-part awkward short clip movie scenes. Each scene that you are going to do is going to be based off of one sort of awkward moment that everyone can experience in their own lifetime, just by living and being out in the world, our daily lives, awkward moments that we have. So what we need to do first, before we do anything else, is that we need to come up with a good, solid list of awkward moments. And when we do that, we are going to talk about why these moments may seem awkward and why they're the best moments to be awkward. Now, one moment that I would like to point out, that I'd like to throw out before I turn to you guys and you offer some of your own examples, is that when you are sometimes when people are just feeling exhausted and very tired, you do a thing where you zone out, right? Everybody's done this before, where you were so tired and so exhausted from whatever you were doing that you just zoned out and got into a stare. Now, have you ever stared at someone by accident without really even looking at them because you were tired or you had just zoned out, right? I've done it before. I do it all the time. I'm tired, I'm on the bus or I'm on a train, and I just am zoned out, and someone comes into my sight line, and I'm not even paying attention to them, but I keep staring, and it makes them feel kind of uncomfortable and awkward. So, let's look at this two ways. One, the person who's being stared at, and two, the person that's doing the staring. So, why is it awkward or uncomfortable for you to be the person who's being stared at? Well, one, you don't know why the person's staring at you, right? If someone's staring at you, they're just looking and they're not saying anything to you. So you don't know what that's about. You don't know if there's something wrong or if there's something wrong with them, right? You don't know what's going on. And they're not communicating with you whatsoever. So that is one awkward, uncomfortable feeling you could have. You may feel awkward because you don't know if something is happening around you or if you are not seeing something. So that's one way to feel awkward. For the person that's doing the staring, though, they may feel awkward because if they realize they're staring and they snap out of it, and then they are left just kind of sitting there, realizing that they had just been making the other person feel uncomfortable, they may feel awkward. Because most people don't try on purpose to make at least strangers feel uncomfortable. Maybe you do it with a friend of yours just to have a joke or to have a laugh, but with strangers, right, we don't usually want to make them feel uncomfortable or awkward, right? So then, now you are the one, you are realizing that you have been making that person feel that way. And that makes you feel uncomfortable, right? We've had these moments before, I'm sure, in our lives, where we made someone feel uncomfortable by accident, right? And then in return, you feel uncomfortable because you feel maybe guilty, or you feel embarrassed that in this situation that you were zoned out and you were just staring and you weren't even paying attention to the fact that you were staring at someone. All kinds of reasons, all kinds of feelings that could come up. And this affects how we communicate. We may stutter, we may have shorter sentences, we may feel unable to complete a thought because we're so focused on it. And the point of all this is that when you are in a situation and somebody's doing this, is acting in that way, they're feeling uncomfortable, it's important to recognize that and to recognize how we communicate when we are feeling uncomfortable. So you can pick up on people's cues. So what I want you to do is I want you guys to offer up some of your own awkward moments. Now, there can be some of the ones we've already talked about, but we're going to make a list of awkward moments. And we're going to, in our pairs, each group will have their own awkward moment that they will have to then recreate in a scene. And then 2 more scenes after that. So, let's start listing them out, okay? Let's get to that.